It.
Wow,
Oh.
hot dropping in. Okay,
They
real
heard
quick.
me.
Aphelios, TF, Graves, Bandaway, Lucian, LeBlanc, Yumi, MF already locked in. Now we get to see what the response is from Damwon.
So what AD carry are you looking at here, Hans? With them first picking MF and banning Aphelios and Lucian banned, what kind of bot matchup do we expect from Damwon for AD carry?
Oh, I kind of need to remember actually because I'm not playing the same patch anymore.
Been playing a lot of
so
solo
much
queue,
solo
yeah.
Let's keep up. Gore Drinker is still very good.
You know, I would play Zaya here. No, I'm joking. I just need to like.
Yeah,
Oh, but Ezreal, like, oh no, maybe not.
maybe not. Well, they did go Lee Sin Syndra before. They might look for some kind of early rotation for top side. They have red side now, right? And last time we saw Damwon get quite a few counter picks or good lane matchups despite being on blue side. Now on red side, a little bit more power, and there's the Jhin.
Oh, that pick.
That pick?
I hate that pick.
Why do you hate that pick?
Enlighten us.
I wish that I picked so I picked Jhin and it was so useless. Every time I see the champ, yeah. The guy is reported, but
It's reported every time this champ's picked.
I appreciate that, but as I am not in this game and lack the power to report ghosts for locking in this champion or the coaching staff, talk to me about why you don't like Jhin in the current meta. Does he just not bring enough to the table?
it's just not a champion that you can carry with. It just like, I guess it helps your team. Yeah, that's what I got. I feel like when I was playing Jhin against the last match against C9, I felt like yeah, I just wish that I had the failures there.
Yeah, well, Jhin locked in now, and I think support matchups also we're looking at. We got a blind pick Jace from Armut, so we talked about lane prior, we talked about pressure. Looks like Mad Lions are going for it, right? They've taken the MF Rakan away from Damwon. Leona gonna come out, which you expect, standard stuff. And the Jace blind pick, which now Khan is gonna have to counter pick on 4-5. Mid lane still not picked up yet. Ryze and Sylas still available.
And I think if now we see the Jhin locked in for Ghost, we know he's not going to be the center of attention, he's not going to be the crazy hyper carry like the Aphelios, then what are we looking for on the side of Damwon Kia to round out the rest of this competition?
Expecting some kind of carry top for Damwon Kia. Of course, they can ban away junglers. Since already taken away, maybe they want to look towards things like a Jarvan to cover your AD carry. It's a winning jungle matchup for Lee Sin though. Maybe even things like Trundle could be annoying for the side of Damwon if they want to take that away. Obviously with the Leona frontline, but solo lanes is what we're looking at for Damwon.
In general, in your experience on this patch hunt, Simon, what do you look at when you look towards something that's going to be solid on the top side? I know you yourself are not a top laner, but you have a very vocal top laner, and Oda Wamne on your team. He has very strong opinions about matchups in my experience. It's either the best matchup in the world or it's completely unplayable. What do you see in this situation that could maybe potentially be locked in? Kennen, of course, a pick that's still up and available. We've seen a lot of blind picks in the tournament. What would be your go-to in this case, or Rogue's go-to?
Definitely something top that you can play around, because you definitely don't want to play around the bot with those champs. I think those champs are very like weak side. They could be like weak side champ. You can just bring Leona to top, pretty much top meta. They want to play at Damwon, so I would say just something that like can pressure top a lot with having Lee Sin there. It's like so much play potential.
Yeah, setup especially, right? There's the Kennen, which is being thought about for Damwon, brings a lot of team fight. Obviously Jace does win that lane in isolation, but Kennen has obviously great team fight and good setup for Lee Sin. So looks like we're gonna get Khan's first Kennen of the tournament locked in, and now it's up to Mad Lions. Blind picking mid, picking jungle. Things like Trundle are up, which could do well in the front line. A lot of AD junglers we've seen. Elio as Kiana.
Wait, but don't they have like 3 champs that have Damwon skin already?
3 champs with Damwon skin?
They are doing this on purpose.
They're doing this on purpose. They have Jhin. What are the Damwon skins?
Hans, that's play-by-play analysis right there. I'm just going to tell you right now. That's like the fun facts. That's not what I was expecting. No, I love it. Okay, we're going for Damwon skins, but I don't think we're there yet, though. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Now we have something like the Orianna locked in. Jungle, the last remaining piece of the puzzle. You brought up the Kiana already, Casual. We'll see how many Damwon skins make it to the surface. But as much as this champion has been nerfed, Viego has looked really, really solid on Western teams.
Here's the Jarvan, though, something I was talking about. It's a losing jungle matchup in isolation, but they have an immobile AD carry. Now they have an immobile top. Jarvan makes a lot of sense. The only mobile mid really left for Damwon is, I was going to say Sylas, but Azir does kind of work as well. But again, Showmaker on a mage, this doesn't look like the Damwon we've been seeing throughout the tournament, where they love to play 1-3-1 and just play for side lanes and play for solo lanes.
Definitely taking their time, debating, and it will be the Azir now locked in. Now, earlier, Hans, you talked about playing towards the top side with this Jhin Leona bottom. What do you expect from Damwon Kia in the early game? What lane should they be focusing on?
Maybe focusing on... Maybe... It's most likely gonna be like Leona, Lee Sin doing things around. I'm not sure which lane they want to play on, but they could move around and just to play with whatever pressure they can get in the map.
Yeah, and I think if you look at both drafts, the biggest pressure point for Mad Lions is top lane. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, Jace into Kennen, you expect Elioy to play up there, maybe go towards mid and get some mana out of Showmakers as you're early, like an EQ, force him out, and then help mid get the push because Humanoid was struggling last game. Basically, both these comps are very heavy team fights. The only difference is Mad Lions have a Jace which can play over side and they can play for 1-4.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, for Mad Lions, they are in the realm of team fighting, definitely somewhere where, as LEC representatives, we generally tend to trust them. They are a very strong team fighting team if they can come into the game even. Final predictions, gentlemen. Let's take the nameplates off. Just in terms of compositions overall, Hansama, whose composition do you like better?
I think I would like. I think I would like Diamond better, kind of, because they have like so much CC. I'm not sure actually, but Mad Lion doesn't look bad either. Not sure which is the best composition actually.
That's exactly where we want you to be, Hansama. Stuck in the middle, uncertainty. That's how we do it. Is there one side you favor over the other?
I would favor Mad Lions slightly. Really good team fight, really good engage, really good shut down enemy carries, and a Jace for side lane.
Absolutely. We're going to have to see what happens as we head to our casters for game 2.
Thank you very much, Dracos. Let's get on into the second game of this series. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. By the way, Hansama drew the Mad Lion on that little red minion in front of you. Oh. A veritable artist.
True. Well, he's actually an artist, though.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I remember learning about that after I think it was after the SKT Misfits years. They had some really nice videos on it. Yeah. On his art, but
he's very talented in multiple ways.
There you go.
He's come in for Minor Caedrel's job.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's jump into the game. Both teams kind of spread out on different sides of the map. Mad pathing towards bots, Talmon doing the same thing up towards the top side, seeing if they can find any potential picks or early game shenanigans, but nothing will come about.
And I feel like so much of this game is going to come down to the jungle matchup. You know, Jarvan has been a bit of a flop at Worlds so far, and Elioya, you know, he has to have a good game, it feels like, not only against Kenya, but throughout groups. The difference between him and wins and him and losses was enormous. You know, he's such a key contributor for Mad Lions, and if he can't get going like he couldn't last game, they rarely have success. And Kanan is going to have the preferential 1v1, so it kind of puts a lot of pressure on Elioya to find ganks.
And a lot of the time, it's how much damage he's able to do as a proportion of his team that really influences things. Remember his Kiana games, 2-0 on that across the course of groups, and he was putting out a lot of DPS. Here on the Jarvan, I personally am a little worried for how much impact he can have, especially since Jarvan has been struggling at this Worlds as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Elioya in losses, 9.9% of the team's damage. Like that's similar to support numbers, right? Just to put that in context. And you know, when he's not able to get going, they look like a completely different team. He feels like a player who plays so much off of confidence, off of momentum. When you watch him in the player cams and something goes bad, you can really see it on his face.
It's definitely true. Well, let's see what he's able to do on a slightly more early game focused jungler in the Jarvan. He is starting red, going to do Rafters. I wonder if he'll do the fast level 3 route, where he'll just go straight towards the Grom. Based on his pathing, he is looking at that, so he may be looking for an early gank somewhere on the map. But thanks to Kazi and Kaiser not assisting their jungler, they were able to get the early pull. And right now, this will be the first level 2. So this time, Mad have prio in the bot lane. Top is relatively even. Meanwhile, Showmaker, as you expect for the Azir in the other game, will have this early prio. But I'm just keeping my eye on the Jarvan right now. Canyon is in a full bot side clear, moving into his top side jungle. And Kazi and Kaiser, I imagine, will use this priority, will get... No, okay, they're not going to put deep vision. They're just going to bet a little bit...
Straight top.
Exactly, and straight to top lane with the level 3.
And I think you have to go for these kind of plays, right? You can't play it the same way Lee is. You farm more slowly. He's got to look for these plays. We'll see if he can connect.
Flash away from Khan. Early on there was already in the lightning rush and manages to get away. But that is the first flash blown. Canyon was able to get an extra camp in that time. Elioya may look for the repeat as Armut flashes in. Khan, flash EQ, he dodges away from it, but it's knocked back by Armut. And Khan will be first blood. Elioya takes it.
I love it. Back-to-back ganks top here. Force the flash. Don't commit your flashes. Then committing the flashes to set it up. Armut jumps in, slows him up, and we have scraps on that bottom side. That's the kind of play that you need to see from Mad to get going early. The concern is Canyon got topside scuttle. He's level 4, and he can meet you at your blue buff now.
Oh, he knows. Canyon, this is what he does. Okay, so you've just punished my lane. But let's see if I can punish you. Canyon has the level advantage, but he's not going to risk it for the time being. I lied. He's coming right back, and I think this is the better play, because look, Showmaker just chunking out Humanoid's HP to force this 1v1 between the two junglers.
Absolutely. I mean, he just waited until the vision actually expired on him. Elyoya, though, is able to get that.
Canyon no smite there, so that was one of the big difference makers. But I really love what Showmaker was doing, in particular in the mid lane. He was making it as hard as possible for Humanoid to come and assist. But let's have a look back at this top gang.
Yep, just goes hammer form to the skies, you know, trying to get that slow to actually set it up. This was the initial play, of course, forcing out the flashes, not coming their own, and then just waiting for cooldowns. The slow comes through. Even though it's a great sidestep from Khan, when you get hammer form knocked back, there's just no way you're going to be able to get back to the tower.
And of course, those cooldowns for Kennen that early on, still very long too.
Yeah.
The moment that he used them to try and clear the wave, that was Elyoya's window to try and set up a punish. So they started off the game by getting Armut ever so slightly ahead, but now you expect Mad to try and repeat this process. Because this wave has been pushed underneath the tower, this is actually an opportunity to set up a stacked wave up towards the top, and maybe they can threaten a dive. With Khan no flash, Showmaker still has TP, which is something that Mad will have to take into consideration, but let's see if Canyon can do something on the other side.
I'm actually so surprised that they didn't take bot scuttle. You know, we see Mad, they're just assuming it was taken by Canyon, and so they're not going to it, and Canyon isn't going to it, so bot scuttle is just actually sitting alive here. 5 minutes into the game, Canyon getting a bit sneaky. That ward did spot Barrel, and his sweeper did not see the ward, so he is not aware that he has been spotted.
How safe is Armut going to play? He instead pushes up, tries to clear out the wave, but Beryl is here. Was spotted out. Canyon is in the vicinity as well. Khan low, stunned there onto Armut. Armut's trying to keep this wave as far away from his tower as possible to try and avoid this dive, but Beryl is having none of it. Flash forward, Zenith blade, Beryl tanks it, and Canyon takes the kill.
Beautiful play from Damwon, and exactly what they needed to do. Yes, Armut tries to keep the wave away from the tower, but Canyon, he's so smart because he realizes, hey, look, enemy Gromp is spawning now. We can look to try and punish this, but now the TP is going to come back into lane.
Beryl has no flash here. Battle Dance into Grand Entrance was a possibility, but nope, as you say, they can't punish it, Belly.
And I just think it was really smart pathing from Canyon. You know, Matt is assuming he went to bot side to take that second scuttle. Instead, he goes back up towards top side.
Engage. There's the knock-up. And we both said they can't punish it, but Khan is caught out once again. Mad Lions.
They can't.
They can't.
Yeah, I really got caught off guard by that one because
that was not that funny, Medic. Stop laughing. Stop that.
I was trying to do it in my head at the time.
All the time.
Yeah,
but we're trying to have a serious cast here. What is this guy doing?
He's just.
Oh goodness.
Now, Elyoya is looking to try and do to Canyon what Canyon has been doing to him. And now look, Kaiser and Elyoya have grouped up. 80 carries have now been left. They're the new top lane. As Khan, only level 5. Oh, he knows. The pings are coming out. He knows.
This is pain as a top lane. You're just staring at those minions, watching them die.
The mid lane is really important here.
Showmaker has TP, and Humanoid does not. Damwon here could look to chase this one forward. Elyoya going in, a triple knockup coming out from Kaiser, and here comes Armut, bring down the hammer and put the nails in the coffin of Khan once again. Canyon able to escape. Here's the TP from Showmaker, but it's cancelled with the shockwave. Battle underneath the tower. It's a double for Elyoya. Canyon trying to get away, but he just can't get the damage down.
Elyoya is a monster in this game. 4 kills at 7 minutes here. Monstrous advantage for the Mad Lions, and some hope again here for the LEC fans.
And so much credit needs to be given to Humanoid, because Showmaker, if that TP comes through, this play could look very different, and you need to keep your eyes on the minimap, because the moment that Mad commit to this play, they realize, hey, look, we know we're going to win this fight. Armut has a level advantage, the CC comes up beautifully, and then as the shockwave comes through, Humanoid's like, I've got to stop this. Beautiful shockwave. The whole Mad Lions top side really coming up clutch to get them this early game lead.
That was really nice from Humanoid. It was critical that he actually stops that, especially with Azir having ultimate and flash. You probably all die.
Yep.
So yes, he has to run through the tower to actually do it, but there is the emotion, there is the reaction that you're expecting. Elyoya has a huge advantage. Now we got to see what he can do with it.
And we come back to exactly what you were saying at the beginning of this cast, Isel, which is that Elyoya looks best when he has something he can have some agency on. We're not trying to call him a bad Graves player, but his ability to impact the game, it's night and day between game 1 and game 2 what he's capable of, and Matt just want to keep attacking Khan.
Kaiser and Kazi apparently have had a little spat in the break because he is not laning with his AD carry anymore. Instead, Armut's his new best friend as Khan is caught out. Slicing Maelstrom will be enough to save him as he flashes away from the last bit of damage.
Okay, so Khan will get away with his life. The problem for them, though, is that the Herald is going to drop on the top side. Yes, Canyon will be able to get the Drake, but also they get the flash out from Khan, and Mad don't invest any summoners, so they still are net positive, and think of all the farm that Khan continues to lose as a 30 CS difference is now developing in the top lane.
Absolutely. In my eyes, immediately when I see something happening like this on the top side of the map, I say, okay, well, what if Damwon got for themselves on the bottom side? They actually have gotten nothing. They are down a little bit here in farm. They're now pushing back and trying to get some plates, trying to fight back and really get something for themselves. But Mad have gotten so much more on the top side, and now the tower's just dead.
Definitely one of the weaknesses of Jhin compared to something like an Aphelios that can just rip through those towers. They could dive him here. Khan, no stopwatch on that cannon. Hextech Odonator is
No, they will dive him. They're definitely going to dive him.
But they don't know where Showmaker is right now, but they know that he is not on his way. The control wall cleared out. They're looking for this tier 2 canyon on the way as well, but Mad Lions will not go for the dive. Second time this game, Benny, you predicted something to happen and the opposite has happened. I might just start listening to Azael a little bit more.
You could see Kaiser's positioning was clearly, if it weren't for that control ward, I think they would have gone for the dive.
To be fair, my prediction has been kind of bad too. I didn't think that you would actually laugh at that joke earlier. So Benny and I are, we're scaling as the series goes on. We'll get better, Medic.
We'll get better.
We'll shape up.
Now I'm looking at these TPs as well. Khan does have TP, and Azael, if you could just bring up the minimap for me.
I can.
Look at all these traps that are actually hovering around Kazi. This would mean more if Damwon was kind of, well, they have the push in mid, but they're not actually setting up any kind of play towards the bot side. But there's also this potential vision that they could look to leverage if they wanted to try and trade for that bot tower.
I mean, it's just demonstrated where the vision is. Mad has all these wards up on the top side, this area. Obviously, Damwon's is all down in the bottom quadrant around those dragons. And they're just playing on very different sides. They're trying to create advantages, but thus far, it has been Mad getting so much more. They're 3.5K ahead here. 10.5 minutes in. That is a monumental lead. And now trying to get down here and punish Ghost.
So yeah, they've now translated their lead from top side to bot. Khan is level 7, has TP and has ult. Showmaker is rotating from mid towards the bot side of the map. And while Mad is focused on securing these plates, let's see how this fight actually plays out.
Humanoid has the TP. He's going to catch that top wave as Khan also has a TP to match. Mad Lions, 2 mythics to the good in terms of inventory right now. You can see the Eclipse finished alongside the Gore Drink. It was a sub 10-minute Gore Drinker for Elyoya. Those early kills paying off in terms of damage. Showmaker here, chunked out by Armut, and expect this Jarvan Jace combination, the double J's, just to keep roaming the map together.
Canyon will walk into his Raptors being stolen, does have the smite, and yeah, he's going to secure that one, along with the little Raptor there. Now what I will say is, we didn't mention it earlier, but you gentlemen may remember the top lane dives from Mad Lions and group stages. They've improved.
Versus Ale, yeah.
Good job, Mad Lions.
I have no memory of those dives.
No, you
the game
don't
started at 20 minutes, didn't it?
I thought it was Mad because they blacked out during the dives. That's actually why they went so poorly.
But yes, Mad Lions definitely improved their dives as Damwon looked to set up down towards the bottom side. Kazi's been doing a good job of just backing away, accepting perhaps a Krug here, a Krug there, and allowing Ghost to take these tower plates. And he has to do that. If you're a 3v1 on the bottom side of the map, as an AD carry, you have to retreat from that. Because of that, he's about 600 gold behind, but look at the top lane difference.
Hang on, TPs. Here it comes.
Looking for the ward. There's a Cataclysm. Ghost will use his flash preemptively to get away. The Solar Flare popped as well. Armor unable to hit the shock blast, but he can bring down the hammer. Ghost forced away. Beryl already dead. Ghost trying to do what he can to survive this, but Armor able to get away from Showmaker. The shuffle does not do enough as Mad Lions take 2 in the bottom lane.
So Mad Lions find themselves more kills on the bot side of the map, and the expectation for Damwon is that they can just trade on this side.
Canyon. Oh, that was so smart. Oh, let's take a trip
coming.
to
They want
LA.
more.
That was a Grand Canyon play from the Damwon jungler. Elyoya trying to get away. Bullet time's going to keep him locked in place. Elyoya will get the kill and goes unstoppable. Canyon gets 1 back for Damwon.
That was unironically a very good zoning ult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually couldn't walk past it at all.
Really was. Because I think that everyone in this game could see that what he wants to do is W over to Showmaker to get to safety. So he's like, okay, I'll just ult Showmaker, and then your 1 point of safety has now been removed.
Carzy just hitting him with the Gandalf cosplay. You shall not pass. And we can see in the Axe replay here.
Let's have a look back at this. So they forced we don't have time.
Even though trying to trade with Khan, but the Slicing Maelstrom comes out. Khan with Noguri's skin will not play the champ as well as Noguri did last year. Humanoid gets 1. He's looking for Showmaker here as well, who will slide in. Humanoid will die, but he makes it a 1-for-1.
this was live, but you would be forgiven for thinking it's a replay, given how often we have seen this happening to Khan this game.
Yeah, we definitely. That's a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to take a humanoid. That was what I was expecting. And then you flipped it. You had me in the first half. All right.
Gotta keep them guessing.
Gotta keep them guessing. Now, Khan will end up falling short once again. You can just see how weak and how much he has been shut down in this early game. And obviously, we've been talking a lot about Mad because after the first game, it looked done and dusted as Showmaker now goes in.
Kaiser here, Solar Flare's gonna hit, Showmaker has to flash away, Cannon's gonna join the fight. Elioya on his way, 5 kills rests on his shoulders. And because of that, Damwon will retreat from the play.
And I feel like that Mad is so much more comfortable in a situation like this because when they're the ones that get to decide when everything is happening, that is when Mad look the most comfortable. That is when they look best. And, you know, we talked about Elioya earlier, but he is that driving force. And when you combine him alongside Kaiser, look at the both of them, 503, 205. It is these two working in tandem that is making so much of the action happen. And what I wanted to say was, if you contrast this to game 1, it's like a completely different team that we're seeing, but also you can see how much different this team looks when they have a little bit more agency in the draft.
It's almost symmetrical though, because Damwon at 15 minutes in game 1 were about 3,500, 4,000 gold ahead. Here, Mad, the team making the plays, the team looking for these fights, are 4,000 gold ahead as we get towards that 15-minute mark. Now, a lot of that rests in the top lane for Armor, but also on Elioya with this Jarvan. And what you want to start doing for the rest of this game as Mad is translating that gold into leads on the rest of your team as well.
Absolutely, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to move around the map, trying to take over the enemy jungle camps, steal those away, starting to get some objectives here now. They obviously have the one Infernal. They're grabbing a Rift Herald here, and likely could just use it mid, try to get more gold there, open up the map even more, and make it more difficult for Damwon to actually approach the next dragon.
I think it's necessary too against an Azir. When you have that kind of wave clear, it's that much harder to siege. So I do like this play from Mad Lions, and I think it makes the most sense. Now, obviously, Mad is in a very good position right now. And when we kind of contrast it to last game, I would say that the problem for Mad was that they didn't have many avenues back into the game with their composition. That's not entirely true for Damwon. You do still have the late game of Showmaker on the Azir. Cannon, even though behind, still offers a huge amount of utility. So even if the Cannon just goes in, ults, and dies, that can still offer a lot of value. And then Ghost on the Jhin can offer a lot of long-range threats. So I still think that Damwon, even in this position, do still have some late-game options to still come back into this game.
They absolutely do, and that's one of the reasons I actually think, you know, Mad should just keep playing for Vision and play 1-4. Because while Kennen, yeah, if he gets a 5-man ult from behind, he can have value. He can't do anything against a Jace when you're this far down in the 1v1. So, you know, play towards the sides, keep creating these pockets of vision where Armlet can feel safe to push, feel safe to really extend that advantage. Because I think that the 4v4 is actually more preferential for Mad.
You see, Damwon have been trying to find a few picks over the last few moments, haven't come up with anything as of yet, but if they can continue to chip away at Mad's vision, they will be able to get themselves into those areas of darkness. For the moment, though, it's Mad in the driver's seat. 5,000 gold ahead at the 17-minute mark.
So you'll notice these 2 wards just above Kaiser in Damwon's blue side jungle. And that's because Mad, rather than threatening mid, is actually looking to try and secure themselves the bot tier 1 for the time being. And the main reason for this is because, as Azael was just saying, their biggest strength right now comes from their side lane. The fact that Jace is in this position is fantastic for Mad Lions. So what they'll do is, let's funnel more gold into him. Let's secure this tower, and let's actually push it up to the tier 2, where you can get so much more gold thanks to these tier 2 buffs. Remember, it was a few patches ago now, but the additional gold that you get opens up the map even more. And if you secure these as well, guess what? It gives you direct access into the mid lane, because you push in this wave, make the rotation over, and then you can start threatening that tier 1 in mid.
And this whole quadrant is basically dark for Damwon. This is the only wards you see right on screen getting cleared out. There's one by the Wolf Pit. They are securing the vision as they need to do, so the play is preempted very well by that setup, but they're going in.
The time they're looking for Ghost, who will flash and heal. Khan on a good flank here. The flash slicing Maelstrom, and Khan rips Mad Lions. Underneath the tower, they were just about to escape, but the kick back onto Kazi will spell his doom. Canyon ticking, ticking, ticking. He'll go down as well, a 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
I cannot believe that that was a 1-for-1. That is the gold lead in action there for the Mad Lions.
Showmaker dies before his bodyguards can arrive. Once again, a 1-for-1 as the shutdown goes over to Ghost. Armor looking for a shock blast here, but can't find his man.
And you can see that even though Damwon is down, they are definitely not out. Canyon makes an insane play on the Lee Sin, and he nearly got away with it too if it weren't for that Ignite that came out from
meddling Kaiser.
Yeah, and now the TP coming into bot lane. Khan, it seems that Mad Lion's saying, hey, you're not allowed to kill. We've got to punish you for that.
Humanoid with the command protect, shields up Elioya under the tower, and then thanks him for the kill.
And it was huge. That actually we saw Elioya survive, just barely able to get out of there because he has a 500 gold bounty. That is a significant swing if that goes on one of the Damwon carries, but they want to find a play here. Elioya is out of mana. Does he even have enough for a flag and drag?
Doesn't have the mana for the EQ combo. Canyon slowed there by the command dissonance, and actually Mad Lions will be able to escape.
Whew. That was close, but this should be a free Drake for Damwon. Actually, maybe not, because actually a few of their members have been able to reset. Let's have a look back at this. So this is quite an aggressive dive from Elioya. He's saying we can just one-shot him with the Orianna ult, but it ends up falling short thanks to the flash coming out from Ghost. And the re-engage, Khan flashing over the wall. And just keep your eyes on the Lee Sin here. Watch this. Q into flash, into Gore Drinker, gives him all his health back, into kick, and he almost gets out, but again, it is that Ignite that just finishes him off. Crazy play there coming out from Ken.
Yeah, that 3-man Gore Drinker was huge. 500 and something health back, and then a little bit of a trade. What do you think killed? There was
It
that
must have been the
bouncing
bouncing grenade.
Yeah.
It had to have been.
Yeah. But Elioya able to survive, keeping his bounty intact.
And out of all of that, Mad actually extended their gold lead even more. They're now sitting at about 6.3k, which is pretty impressive. Again, considering you look back as to how their early game went last time around. And we kind of have to harken back to the MSI matchup when Medic, when we were casting it, I remember us finishing game 1 and we were being like, well, I guess it's fast 3-0 a day. And then game 2, immediately Mad Lions bounced back, just like they have in this one. And I think that Mad Lions really wanted to get the revenge against Damwon and showcase that they're not just some pushover team that you can get an easy best of 5 against.
I think the difference between this series and the series at MSI was when Mad did win, it was even until around the mid-game and Mad won team fights. Whereas this game has very much been Mad putting Khan in the dirt over and over and over again, and then translating that onto the rest of the map.
And it's so interesting because both teams kind of have, evolved since MSI. Damwon, when you're looking at them and you're looking at how Mad actually won their games, it was really by abusing bot. But Ghost has actually had, I think, quite a bit of growth, it's fair to say, since coming back in summer with Damwon. He had looked better. He has not been getting taken advantage of in groups, and he's been pretty solid across these first 2 games. But it is actually Mad, attacking Khan, who is thought to be the biggest improvement for Damwon because of the added flexibility. Coming in MSI, everyone was like, he's the Scion 1 trick, he's the tank guy. At Worlds, he is just slamming everyone and playing everything.
It certainly is. And again, coming into this draft, we were like, oh, well, here we go. Khan's going to get counterpick. Khan's going to be able to play well in this top side of the map, and Mad have done their best punishing. But now comes the Baron. And we saw some crazy Baron steals yesterday. Canyon is on Lee Sin, one of the best for stealing, but Mad want to fight.
They're just looking for Beryl here, already half his health gone, goes in with the Zenith Blade, pops the stopwatch as well. And look at how low Elioya is, kicks back straight into the waiting arms of the bullets from Ghost's gun. 1-for-1 trade once again, but that's very much Damwon favor.
Now this is a very typical Mad Lions play. When they have a lead and Baron is alive, they use it as a means to force a fight, and we saw that. The problem for them was that they engaged on the Beryl, and what Beryl is weak, still a Leona, still very tanky, bought a lot of time, and then Ghost was able to leverage the long-range ult with a really good kick once again from Canyon to get that shutdown money onto Elioya, and you can now see a whole 1k over Kazi, and Damwon have been able to close that goal gap ever so slightly, even though they are still at a deficit.
And it was really interesting. I was actually expecting Khan to come up on the minimap. He's in mid. I was expecting him to move over and try to flank here, but it was actually him just clearing out the waves, pushing it in. I think he thought this was a lost fight, but the beautiful kick straight into that ultimate shot there, 800 gold onto Ghost. And Damwon do hold on.
But Medic, I hope you're ready, because Mad, 100%, is about to force another Baron. I'm going to say, let's fight again, because this is what Mad love to do. They leverage Baron as a tool to force fights when they know they have an item advantage, but I think the thing they have to be concerned about right now is, look at Ghost, 2 items now been completed, and against multiple squishy champions, Jin can definitely hit hard.
And I wouldn't mind seeing Mad just continue to play sides, stack towards Soul, because I think that Mountain Soul is insanely good against this composition here from Damwon. Jin does more damage as you get lower on HP. The shield actually is very effective against Jin ult. It's very effective against a lot of the bursts that Kennen and Lee Sin, these champions, are going to put out front. So I don't think they need to really rush it. You know, they're in a good spot. You're still winning sides. Play 1-4, take away vision, take these guaranteed objectives, because if you go to Baron and you get Flash Cannon ulted or you lose the Baron to a Baron steal, that is a way they can lose this game. And there's no pressure on them because they have pretty good scaling too with Orianna, with the MF as well.
Kaiser now Leoya looking for this. Cataclysm coming out. Cards is going to step right into the captive audience. Bell going back onto the backline. Curling call comes out. Bell is down. TP behind Humanoid. He tries to flash away, but the Emperor's Survive will catch him. Showmaker pops the stopwatch to stop the shockwave, but the bullet time will still rip him to shreds. Mad Lion still looking for this fight as Kaiser underneath the tower pops a stopwatch of his own. Armor putting the damage down onto Ghost. He's going to get locked up as well. And Armor just went too deep. Damwon once again winning out this fight.
Damwon continue to show why they are such a good fighting team with an excellent punish onto the Mad Lions. Mad way too overcommitted there underneath the tower. Damwon find themselves with a number of shutdowns, and Cannon, he's looking for a little more.
Kaiser.
This is what I'm talking about. I just don't think you need to force that hard. It feels like they are feeling a lot of pressure to move the game forward. Maybe they feel that they get outscaled. Maybe they feel that they are not in a position to actually win a slow-played game here. You know, the ulti that you're going in for, it's basically just on barrel because Canyon is always going to ward hop out of that. The root from Ghost was critical, though. Actually keeping Carzzy away from Canyon. The follow-up was not there as a result. Then 4 members from Mad are split off from Humanoid, so Showmaker is able to go in. The Shockwave as well as the Flag and Drag, both immune by Showmaker. Yes, he does go down eventually, but Canyon is smurfing in this fight. The kickback, they clear out the minions, and then goes with the root on Arma under the tower.
And I think the Arma thinks that he has way more damage than he does because he's looking at Ghost and he is clearly trying to get that kill underneath the tower, ends up getting rooted up and ends up losing his life as well.
I think he has a lot more damage if that Shock Blast connects, right? He probably gets both of them if that Shock Blast hits. I will note as well, Elioya going for the Black Cleaver second here.
I did notice that, yeah.
No Sterak shield, and he is getting burst quicker than you've seen some other Jarvans get burst at this world. Third Dragon
more
again,
damage
will be taken from Mad. It's more damage.
He has, yeah. He has more kill threat, but as you rightly said, much squishier. And definitely in a couple of these situations, if he did have that Sterak's, he would have had way more survivability.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of those tough situations because often when you're playing from really far ahead, the additional CDR for your engages feels really, really nice. You just fly in there, be able to have that additional damage setting up for the MF with your ultimate every single time. And especially because Carzzy is going for the lethality build, the MF ultimate cooldown gets pretty low and you're trying to kind of sync that up a little bit.
And now we kind of look at Damwon in their entirety. So Ghost has now got 3 completed items. Showmaker is at 2 with a Void Staff finished up. Canyon has gone for the Sterak second and has a stopwatch. Khan also has a stopwatch and a Void Staff as well. So you can see that Damwon's team fighting is getting stronger every single fight. And the reality is that if you're at a deficit and you're trading even or even slightly up in many of these team fights, that's only beneficial to you. Remember, we were at a 7k gold lead not too long ago, and that gold is slowly starting to diminish as Damwon continue to find these successful fights.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of good fights in a row for Damwon. It's now about 4.5k. As you said, it was 7k earlier, but Mad are at Soul Point. That is kind of what they have bought for themselves. Damwon will have to fight at this Mountain Soul. I don't think you can give it up with this type of composition. Yes, the Azir has high consistent damage, but your other 3 damage dealers are all very upfront, very burst heavy, and Mountain Soul's really difficult to deal with for those champs. So it becomes about the setup for Mad. We're 3.5 away. They want to make sure that they have full vision control, get out there early, be there a minute in advance, full vision denial, and try to make sure that Khan has no options for TP flanks or for these really surprising angles.
Showmaker just going to poke across the wall here, but you can see Kaiser.
Oh my god.
He definitely has the damage, Vedius, just needs to hit those Qs. Showmaker down to half.
Yep, you are correct.
Of course, Showmaker not yet got the Seeker's Arm God, not got any armor. Wouldn't do too much against Cyrilda's
That's a
Man Immune
3.5 item.
Yeah,
that's a lot of lethality into Armor's back pocket, and when playing into no armor, yeah, it hurts, as you can see.
Now, man, Showmaker looking like a range minion out there.
Also want to note that stopwatches are plenty. We've already seen a lot come out from both sides, but Jarvan has a stopwatch, Lee Sin with the stopwatch, Khan with the stopwatch, Humanoid with the zombies.
Canyon chunked out by Armor. I'm pretty sure that control ward does not spot the other ward in the bush. Deadly Flourish goes wide. And what Mad Lions are doing here is setting up some vision control around the Barons so that they can make Damwon face check into them, but also this is preemptive. You know, you set this up for the next 2.5 minutes, and then you can play either Baron or the Mountain Soul.
And one of the really big advantages against Kennen comps you get when you have the push is that your opponents can't get deep vision for flanking wards. You keep pushing them in, you know that they're on their side of the map, therefore they cannot have wards on your side of the map. And we'll see if Damwon can get Barrel out there, try to get some sort of a deep ward, because it does feel like they're going to need that type of a flank. But as I say that, I mean, Khan is getting really strong. He's actually higher level than Arma now has level 16, does have the Zonies completed, so he's on 3 items and will be truly a threat at this next fight.
So Mad now starting to transition their vision down towards the bot side of the map. Humanoid needs to catch this wave, and Mad is saying, the worst thing that could happen to us right now is if Humanoid dies, so let's give him a little bit of cover. We'll invest our vision towards the enemy blue side jungle, and we'll just offer that extra bit of protection. But that's a really great point that you made there, Azel. The fact that Khan is level 16, I think, is such a big deal. And with Damwon grouping up as 4 in the mid lane for now, they also have a push in the top lane. They now get to control a little bit of the river. So they now, like, they have to spend their turn clearing out all this vision, investing their vision. But now you see Mad coming back out on the map, replenish control wards. Oh, they're actually starting this one off. And look at the position of Khan. Yeah. This is how they get their flank.
Might just be onto Humanoid. Ghost now stepping up towards where that blue buff would be. Khan laying in wait. The only player on this team without a Worlds trophy to his name, Khan. Looking to at least carry Damwon to a win here, perhaps to the semi-finals. Khan can flash, slicing Malcolm Elioya in the pit now. Khan in prime position. Is it the return of the Khan? He can't quite get in yet.
They've got to wait for Showmaker. He needs to TP back because he took that shock blast, and they may try to go once he TPs back in.
Look at Khan's positioning. That blue trinket did come down, and he knows, so he's just trying to avoid the vision. Armin is aware of the potential flank.
And
we're going for 50-50.
He's going to go. He has flash.
Khan has flash. Slices and dices up the Mad Lions. And they did not respect Khan. Damwon Kia clean the Lions off the map. They wear their pelts as a cape as they ace them in the river.
And once again, Damwon showcased their fantastic team fighting prowess. Forcing that Baron looked like a risk, looked like a flip, but they were doing to Mad Lions what Mad Lions often like to do to everyone else, using it as a means to force a fight and getting the flank that Khan has been looking for.
And they didn't have anyone marking Khan. That was the critical error from the Mad Lions. You have got to find Armut. He's got to find Khan and chase him around and look for the 1v1. Make the Kennen use his ultimate in the 1v1 or back off from that position. Because Armut is committing to trying to land poke on the 4-man squad, no one is marking Kennen. Kennen finds the angle, and that was all she wrote for this team fight, and that is such a huge error from Mad Lions. The question now is, can you actually get the Mountain Soul? Because Damwon have reset pretty late. Oh my god, the damage done. That tells the whole story.
It really does. Shockwave from Humanoid did land, but Khan just slicing and tearing through Mad. Now, Dragon started up. It will be the Soul. Humanoid TPing behind here. Khan doesn't have the slicing mouse for a couple more seconds. Mad Lion should be able to secure the Mountain Soul at least, but Humanoid is in no man's land. Caught by himself. Khan pops the stopwatch to stop the Shockwave, but Mad Lion's still looking to fight. They are able to get the shutdown. Humanoid will die as well. Canyon on the flank now. Kazi, no bullet time. Quickness almost back up for Kaiser. Now it comes in. Armor's still alive, but Beryl's diving onto him. Showmaker pops the stopwatch of his own. Ghost healing up. Beryl down. Kazi trying to get away, and Showmaker will die as well, and Kazi's still alive, but Canyon will take him out. Elioya and Kaiser versus Ghost and Canyon. And Elioya tries to get away, but the Deadly Flourish finds his mark once again. He dodges the Shockwave. Kaiser gets the heal with Gleaming Quill and will dodge back. Canyon, no Dragon's Rage, no Sonic Wave connecting. Ends up being a 3-for-3 trade.
Wow. So, another massive fight takes place. Mad Lions will walk away with the Soul, but Damwon should be able to continue their siege. They're not going to overcommit. Instead, they're going to keep pushing in these waves, get a couple more towers down, and now look at this. The gold dead even. This is why Damwon is the reigning world champions and why they are one of the favorites to win the whole thing.
Absolutely. I mean, they're so damn good at playing out the mid and the late game. That is really where they do excel. The Shockwave does get Zonia's there. And you know, honestly, at the end of the day, this is not that bad for Mad Lions in this specific play because they did come away with the Mountain Soul. They're trading even on kills. Yes, that play by Baron was catastrophic. That let Damwon back in the game. But you are still now even on gold, and you have Mountain Soul. And that is very, very powerful against Damwon's comp. That is very much so an upfront damage type of style.
Whew. So now we're in a position where Ghost is level 16, 4 items done, one of them being the Infinity Edge. Zhonya's is now fully upgraded for Khan. And we talked about the late game comeback potential of Damwon, and you really are seeing it with their composition right now. But now that's not to say that Mad's team fighting is necessarily weak. It's just that what Khan offers on this Kennen is just so much utility and damage that in the right fight, you can see how much easier it is for Damwon to be able to play out the 5v5.
And I've got to say, even though last game from Canyon was incredibly impressive how he snowballed his lead, how he has played from a deficit is even more impressive.
Yeah.
Like, he has been outstanding in almost every single fight here on the Lee Sin. He is putting pressure on Carzzy. He is dipping and dodging back and forth, putting the maximum pressure, never really falling down. And now he has GA plus stopwatch. He has the ability to throw himself into that backline. And we're likely going to see Damwon playing towards this Elder.
Even catching the wave here to make sure that Mad could not get mid priority. Canyon will clear it out. Carzzy gets the slow, but Canyon obviously on the Lee Sin can just dodge away.
Look, they even move Ghost off onto a side lane, and then because they have the Azir turret here, they know that it's that much harder for a Kaiser engage to come through alongside a Jarvan. So Damwon just continuing to play the map. They have actually gotten themselves the goal lead. I think that's the first time this game. But the fact that they've been able to claw back from the deficit they were in, just so impressive. And I can't get over how they played that Baron, because like we were talking so much about it, Azel, very much about how they need this cannon to get onto the backline. So you need a flank. So, but how do they do that? When you don't have mid prior, when you don't have control, how are you going to get this deep vision into a flank? Well, you force them into a fight on your terms. You decide when the fight happens, and to have that awareness and then to execute upon it, just always so impressive to watch.
It's one of the reasons Damwon, as the Solar Flare lands into the Zenith Flash, Stopwatch will stop the Zenith Blade from chasing him down, but Canyon once again gets the kick, knocks Humanoid back, and Humanoid dies. Elio trying to get onto the backline. Canyon and Bevel are low here. Canyon still has the GA. Showmaker caught up in the Cataclysm. Bevel will get killed off by Carzzy, and Mad Lions may have found a Khan here, but Khan is having none of it. Pops the Stopwatch, slices through Mad Lions. Khan, in his last worlds, doesn't even want to lose a game. He will kill up the Mad Lions as Damwon march through mid.
Time and time again, Khan coming up huge with these team fight ultimates. And Damwon on the march to victory here in Game 2.
Wow, an insane comeback from Damwon. They have the wave. Only Kaiser is alive.
No,
he's going to be shut down. Canyon won't lose his life either, and Damwon are going to match point.
There is an aura around Damwon that just seems unstoppable. 2-0 over the Mad Lions.
Showmaker said in the live video, we don't lose. And so far it has been true here against the Mad Lions, but Mad, that game was in their hands. They had an incredible early game. Elyoya on the Jarvan really needs to be highlighted how damn well he played. I just think they're going to want that Baron fight back so badly. Because really, I think if Armut just marks the Kennen, you just walk at the Kennen and 1v1 him, that's your whole job. You don't need to do anything else. I don't think that Baron fight ever happens.
I mean, I think we can go back earlier, Azel, because I think the reality is that you were talking a lot about it. They tried to force a lot of fights that you can argue they didn't need to. A lot of fights are going 2 for 2.